Alright, so we're working on Bob's snowblower out here, and Bob had some concerns. He stated that his there was gas leaking out of this. I guess onto the floor, and I lost that other carburetor, but let's just pull this one apart for Bob. So what happens in some of these units, especially the Tecumsehs. Tecumseh made a really good product for a really long time. So this is the typical carburetor that you would see in a Tecumseh. And if you see this little tiny hole here, that is a air fuel mixture or a overflow, something engineered to prevent things, I guess bad things from happening, like gas going into the intake or other things I guess that could occur in here, but it's engineered in there on purpose. What happens is sometimes these get clogged. That's problematic. The other thing that happens too is when people let their carburetors clog up, the needle will get stuck in an open position. So it will actually be stuck like this. It'll be stuck down. And then the fuel keeps pumping in from this side and into the float bowl. And then what happens is eventually it will start leaking out that little hole. It is one reason why I put shut-off valves on most of the items that I work on. But see, our neighbor Kevin is out in his old Oldsmobile or Buick or whatever the hell it is. It's not as bad as the Honda fart can guy, but when these do not have a clear passage for seating that needle in there, we can find another unit. If that little rubber plunger doesn't seat into the fuel intake part of this, which is on this unit, on this one, on this side, that gas will continue to flow right onto the floor. So one of the nice things with these older Tecumsehs, and sometimes when I replace carburetors, because it's just cheaper to replace them than is to break them down and clean them up and stuff, and you get settings that you can actually adjust on these older units. There's this purge button. So at the end of the season, when you're done with this unit, you can turn the gas off. You can let the gas in the can. That's fine. I mean, you know, it isn't the ideal thing to do without stable. Even if you have ethanol free gas in it, you probably still want to put some stable in it. But take a paper towel or a cloth of some sort or another, rag, you know, dirty shop rag, and push that in. And what that will do is it will actually go ahead and drain the few ounces of gasoline that you have in here, and that way next year, next season, or 2 seasons from now, when you go about starting this thing back up, you'll be able to start this thing up fairly easy. I have all sorts of videos out there. I'm sure other people have all sorts of videos out there about dirty gasoline and letting gas sit and spoil gas. Bob Vila does one out there. You just Google ethanol free gas, Bob Vila, and you'll get a nice lengthy article about ethanol gas and how it is hard on the small equipment here. But thankfully for Bob, I think that we are probably pretty good to go. I should say, for my Bob, not Bob Vila, I think we have cleaned up the carburetor enough that we do not have that leak occurring. And I sort of suggest that you use the on-off petcock that someone put in there, because I mean, some units it did come with it, but a lot of units these did not come with. This hose actually looks pretty brand new all the way through. So I mean, if it came from the factory that way. Great setup, great unit. They don't make them like that too much anymore. Now they're just one hose. They get rid of the petcock in between, which is really a disservice to the consumer. But this looks like it's been serviced once or twice maybe, because you can see kind of the I don't service them like that, but you can see someone spun a or wrench on there or whatever. I use the extraction tool and lovely video with a loose gimbal or whatever. And we're gonna just spin. Sorry, you're spinning with me. Get dizzy. I don't know why this thing keeps coming loose. Alright. I use the extraction tool and that guy right in there. And since we got, well, we'll pause it. We'll do a little, we'll let it heat up and then we'll drain it. So I got a couple, like 15% left on this camera, I guess. We're looking at the wrong unit now. Got a little bit of a pop. A little bit of a pop in there, but that oil has definitely seen better days. I'll have a good headache tomorrow. What do you think? It's pretty dark, huh? So I'll change that, and prop that up with a wheel. I guess I just never took notice. Apparently there is only one clevis in each wheel. I guess some of the units that I've seen, someone replaced both sides with the clevis pins. Doing that. Let's pull the hot spark plug. Pull the torque wrench back out. Brake it going one way. I gotta go find some synthetic oil and hope and pray that for Laura's unit here that it is just a matter of having no fluid. Yeah, we'll give him a new one. Wait, up. Throw a new one in there. I don't like to if I don't have to, because it is a waste of resources. To the, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I went to the scrapyard thinking that maybe they would actually recycle them, and they do not. So check the gap on this. Brand new Sparky Spark. Those threads feel a little boogered up for whatever reason. This is why I record everything. If I look down in there, they actually look like, thanks buddy, we needed that extra throttle jockey juice all the way down into there, because, you know, that made your car, that made your motorcycle run 100 times better, let me tell you. It'll run better. We'll set this to 16.75 foot-pounds. sure that this is, I forget, it's a plus or minus, you know, a certain amount of variance with regards to well, hello. You always take your, I guess you weren't even really looking over there, sorry. Loosening it now, but that's the guy that zoom me in. The Chinese one, because I really can't afford $500 for Snap-on one. Love a Snap-on one. But just can't see spending that much money. And then a little dielectric grease. And that should be good. And we'll add some fresh oil here. And get this back over to Bob. I guess I need to drain my extra oil.